voice could be picked up by the mics. We have a good system here. And we'll start the very controversial first board meeting here tonight. We'll start at 7. We'll give it just a few minutes. All right, so Holly's on the call. She's in, Betsy? And I'll call her when we go into executive session. Okay, I will call the Southbury Board of Selectmen regular meeting August 15th, 2024 to order at 7 p.m. and if we could have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Holly Sullivan, Selectman Sullivan, is on the call by a Zoom. Greg Kuhn is not with us tonight, but we also have a quorum present. First up is a presentation from John Dwyer, presentation of the Community House Park and Grange Hall. John, if you'd like to come up, thank you for coming. If you push the green button, that would help.
And thank you for the invitation. First of all, let me set the stage here. We're talking about the intersection of Old Jeremy Swamp Road and Community House Road, now so-called. Originally, that was the thoroughfare, was the main drag. The road that we go on, the bypass, which is now called Route 67, that's taken its place. That wasn't built until 10 years after this story starts, about 1935. So what is now a small side road, Community House Road, was at one time the main thoroughfare. It was the stagecoach route from Seymour into Woodbury, and before that it was the Oxford Turnpike, which was incorporated in 1795. It was at the intersection with what we now call Jeremy Swamp Road, which was presumably the ancient Woodbury path, the first road laid out, authorized by the General Court in 1675. So it was an important crossroads in town from the very first era. But at the time that I come to now, 1921, 1922, it was for many generations the farmstead of the Hickok family. The people who lived in this area, on Main Street, I should say, at this time, probably felt like they were a little bit, out of the way, out in the woods, whatever, because all the action at that time was in South Britain. That's where the town hall was. That's where the library was. That's where the big employer was, and that employer was a bit philanthropic, and he supported all kinds of community activities. He supported a community club, and he also had a bowling alley built there. So the people on Main Street, thought that they were the upstanding part of town, didn't have much going on. They did have a train station, and they did have a hotel there, but other than that, it was people passing through for the most part. You have to remember, there were no high schools then. The schools were one room, maybe two rooms. Everything was, kind of spread apart. So in 1922, a bunch of the, I'll call them the Main Street crowd, got together and they said, we're going to incorporate No, I didn't, thank you, I didn't see that. That's the fine print with this. So this is the group of people that I found. 24 of them or so, they're the upstanding citizens of the region. They signed an Articles of Association in 1922 with the purpose to provide for the proper entertainment and welfare for the young people of the town of Southbury and to interest them in all things for the betterment of the town. That's an upstanding objective, I think. If you look through the list, you'll probably remember, even if you didn't know those people, you'll probably recognize the names and maybe even be related to some of them. And actually, we're kind of all related to most all of them, in fact. The organizer, the president of this first association was Harry Stone. Everybody knows the Stones, I'm sure. And one of the things that he did around this time is he approached the CLNP, who had just formed Lake Zor and had all the property line area bought up along the shore, and asked for a donation. And they said, yeah, we've got an empty building here, you can have it. So they took the building down, they indemnified the CLNP, and they used the materials to construct a building right at this intersection. That's the Hickok Garage, which is across the street from, it's next to one of the ball fields. It's not there anymore. I got to go look see where it is, but this was, again, I said it was the main route. And across the street from that picture, we just saw the Hickok Garage. It was called the Southbury Garage. They trademarked the name. They put this building up, which was the Southbury Community Club House, or the Southbury Club House. This is an early picture of it, using materials that they got from one of the buildings that was being abandoned. The interesting thing about this building, it was designed to be like an auditorium. They built a stage in it. It's kind of a fancy stage. It's still there. You can see it's got footlights along the front of the stage. I'll show you some other pictures of it later as to what it looks like now. Beatrice Hubble is one of the ladies in this picture, which is interesting if you're a town hall employee, because she was the longtime town clerk here before this building, I'm pretty sure, yes. The property was leased to the Southbury Community Club by Howard Hickok himself. He gave them permission to use a piece of his land, with the stipulation that they use it for the purposes they stated for town community events for the young. Now, in this building's lifetime, the most significant impact that it had is it was at the center of this event that everybody knows about, which was the expulsion of the German-American Bund. If there was any building that was involved in that, this building was it. This was the building where they met 250 people to vote on the zoning ordinance. It was at this building. You have to remember, there were no auditoriums. There was no place you could go if you had a big town meeting. And this was a special meeting. They went to the church once before, but none of the other buildings in town could have held a crowd like that. And because of that, they also scheduled for the trial of the Bund Sunday blue law breakers to be held at the community clubhouse, because not only were they expecting a big crowd of people from the town, but they had people come in from all over the newspaper reporters and So they needed a big space, and this was the space. So really, it served an important purpose for town. And they had a number of town meetings there over the years because, and especially when weather got bad, it was also very convenient. So, well, let me just give you a quick list of some of the things that I found happened here, which were interesting. Besides the Bund trial, and I didn't mention these people. United Americans was a grassroots organization, anti-fascists, that were formed at that building, and for many years had regular meetings and lectures, which were supposed to be pro-American. That also happened at the Community Clubhouse building. Some of the different things that I found out happened here was the churches used it for carnivals. It was used for patriotic events. The Washington Bicentennial was held there. Special town meetings, regular town meetings, regional council meetings, not just local meetings, but also county-wide things. There were lectures, plays, dances, square dances in particular. They sponsored a basketball league. They had lunch and dinner meetings, had a Mardi Gras there that the Lions Club held. I'm sure you all recognize that a respectable-looking group at the lower left side there. They need no introduction, do they? Well, that's Swede Stoltz and his Hayseeders, and they were the regular square dance group on Saturday nights, sponsored by the VFW. VFW might have used this building more than many other people. Other groups that used it, the churches, Sacred Heart, Lutheran Church. The VFWs used it, as I mentioned. 4-H clubs met here. Pomperog 4-H Club was our local version. The regional 4-H's, the Grange meeting met there. Howard Hickok was the president of the local Grange and also of the 4-H club. Fireside Club, neighborhood clubs, Democratic Women's Club. That picture up there on the upper right hand, that's a wedding reception. That's Bucky Ludorf and his wife being married there. Later on in its life, many people now, we remember these days well. It became the de facto headquarters for the Southbury Eagles Drum Corps. This is a number of pictures of the group in action at when this town hall was opened. They didn't need the club anymore so much because now, look, you've got an auditorium. But before this building was built, what did you do when you had to have a large crowd? You used that place. And there it is. You can see the stage in the middle picture and the landing on the outside there. I'm sure everybody remembers the Southbury Eagles, and that fits the original objective of the organization. A recent picture on the left-hand side, you can see it's fairly solid condition, hasn't decayed or altered or swayed much. The lines are still straight, but the siding has been taken down. You can see the stage in the back of the picture. The lower right-hand side picture that I have there, just for comparison, that building in Oxford, in the center of Oxford, is near twin, almost identical building. It's still being used regularly. You can see how it's almost like they use the same plans with the stage there, and that's used sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, all during the week. As I said, this was at the site of the Hickok farm. That was a dairy farm. I remember this picture, this image very well. The barn there with the Curtis House painting advertisement on the side of it was kind of a local notable landmark. And when I was a kid, every time we drove back from New Haven, when we saw that barn, we knew we were in Southbury. We're coming into Southbury. It inspired a number of artists. It caught a lot of attention. So people my age have a fond memory of that place, and this is how it looked like when we used to come to town. That's it. I thought you might enjoy the pictures. I enjoyed putting them together, and it's nice to see them. Somebody might say that, a whole generation came from the events that, you know, your parents might have danced for the first time to Swede Stoltz and his Hayseeders, you know, back 50 years ago. Thank you for your time, unless you want questions or anything.
I don't think at this time, John, I think it was really good to see this. I'm sure we'll be taking up in future board meetings consideration about what we're going to do. Yeah, and again, I do recognize some of those names as my family.
Yes.
The Ludorf wedding was my father, I'm sure, was there as best man.
Yep.
So it does have meaning to some of those of us who've been here a long time. So we'll take that up at some other meetings.
Yeah. And I see it as an asset, and it maintains value if it's maintained and kept up. And if it's not, you know, I'm on the Historic Buildings Commission. You know what I do? We spend $5,000, $10,000 a year to keep those buildings up, and there'll never be a liability because of that. Unlike some towns that they wait till they, you know, need $1 million bond to do something to fix them up. So that's just my recommendations as a citizen. I think it's good fiscal conservative practice to spend a little bit of money
John, can I just ask one question?
rather than get stuck with a huge problem.
Have you been in the building itself, the old Grange?
Yes, I took that picture and several others, yes.
Okay. So structurally, it looks...
Well, I'm not known for this, but I've been recognized by some people in town as being somewhat of a minor authority on restoration and on ancient old construction. And of course, one of the first things I do when I look at an old building, I look at the lines. If the lines are good, if there's no sways, if there's no, you know, that means the building is reasonably sound. The first thing you do. And that building is as straight as any you're going to find. I've been in the barn also. I've rebuilt barns myself, so I know timber frame construction pretty well, and that's fairly good shape. The foundation's good. The bases of the posts, which are two of the things you have to look for. Also, to me, they seem like they're sound buildings to start with. I don't see major problems with either of the buildings.
Well, thank you.
My
Very
personal
interesting.
opinion.
Thank you for the presentation.
Yes, thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
Thanks, John. Okay, next up, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Jeff, did you do public comments? I don't know if there's anybody here for public comments.
I'm sorry?
Did you do public?
Sorry, I missed the public comment. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? I didn't think so. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we will move on. These mics are pretty good. Entertain a motion to go into executive session for the discussion regarding pending litigation and settlement in the matter of Ballard versus Pierce, ETAL. And inviting in Tom Kalin, our town attorney, along with, I don't have Andrew Glass, representing us in this matter. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
My motion made, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And it carries, and we are in executive session, and we will be right back. We are out of executive session. Holly?
Please leave me a message and
Oh,
I'll give you a call.
hang on. We're going to call a different number.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, we have Selectman Sullivan back on the line. Any discussion and or action to be taken by the matter of Billiard versus Pierce ETAL? I'm looking for the motion to. Say that?
I don't believe one was drafted.
We don't have a draft motion.
Yeah, I drafted one and sent it over,
Let me find that.
and I think it can be as simple as a motion to approve the settlement as presented to the Board of Selectmen by their counsel in the matter of Billiard versus Pierce.
Jason, I'll let you make that motion.
Motion to accept the settlement as presented by council in executive session in the matter of Billiard versus Pierce.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that carries. Thank you, gentlemen. I think we're all set with that.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a nice evening.
Announcements and correspondences in your packet. Can I have a motion, can I have a motion to add to the agenda the recommendation of the hiring by Finance and Human Service Resource Administrator and First Selectman of hiring of David Mahoney Jr. for the Facilities Foreman position? Can we add that to the agenda under new business?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye,
Aye.
and it carries. Okay, thank you. Your announcements, correspondence, you have your reports. Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Thank you, Tim. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And it's unanimous, it's approved. Just a note that one of that was to close Main Street for the turkey trot, to make sure we get that done before it's too late. Fall is coming. Can I have a motion, if there's no objection, to approve the minutes of July 18th, 2024, and August 1st, 2024, both regular meetings? Can I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Thank you, Tim. Have a second. Jason? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. No one's opposed. Next, unfinished business. Then we have, under new business, the gentleman just accepted the position this afternoon. That's why we're adding it to the agenda. It's an approved position under the budget. Resolved that the Southbury Board of Selectmen, upon the recommendation of the hiring committee, Finance and Human Resource Administrator, and the First Selectman, hereby approves hiring David Mahoney Jr. for the Facilities Foreman position. Do I have the motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it's approved. Thank you. First Selectmen's report on Naugatuck Regional Plan Steering Committee. NVCOG formed a regional plan steering committee to provide critical leadership with drafting the NVCOG's Regional Plan of Conservation and Development. As a committee member representing the Southbury community, I am looking forward to providing input into the direction of the plan and ensuing ensuring it best meets the needs of Southbury and NVCOG municipalities. Members will make decisions on key content such as maps, data, be the first to review draft chapters and stay up to date on the plan, on the progress of the plan. The steering committee, the committee will meet monthly until June of 2025. Town representatives toured the IBM Southbury campus last week. The company intends to put the 1.1 million square feet facility on the market for sale later this year. The town will work closely with IBM to reimagine this important site and appreciates their many years in the community. I notified the state police that the town of Southbury will end its resident trooper contract on October 1st, 2024. On July 18th, the Board of Selectmen voted to award the Chief of Police contract to Chris Garillo. An installation ceremony and celebration took place on August 1st, where I transferred my power along with my badge to Chief Garillo. Chief Garillo has earned my utmost respect and the respect of his fellow officers, our community, and town officials over his 21-plus year career in Southbury PD. Congratulations, Chief. This reminder and initial public hearing will be held on Wednesday, September 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in room 205 at Southbury Town Hall, where eligible voters can attend and express any desired changes to the way the town operates. Each person will be allowed to speak about their charter proposal for 5 minutes. Written input may also be presented by email or entered into a specific web page form. More information on how to do so can be found on our website. In addition to public input, suggestions, information will also be gathered from town employees and town government volunteers as part of this endeavor. The members of the 2024 Charter Revision Commission want and need your input to make the charter revision a success. Please consider expressing or sending your comments and concerns. And this, of course, does include the Board of Selectmen. There's a number of members who have sat on this board. Justin, Jason, and I, we've been here a long time, so we've seen a lot of things. I think there's a commercial about that. We know a lot of things because we've seen a lot of things. So certainly, let's make sure we have that. Despite the rain, Purchase Brook Bridge project is ahead of schedule and may open earlier than our original goal of September 30th. Thank you to the Dayton Construction Company for recognizing the importance of getting our bridges open as soon as possible. I'd also want to point out and thank Cardinal Engineering and Gary Guru, the engineer who's also a Southbury resident and serves on one of our boards and commissions and has been on top of this, and also Blake Leonard. I was over there today. Not only are we expecting to be early, but their paver's over there, and we are only some guardrails and pavement away. I think we may be open Monday. So the citizens should know how well the Public Works, our on-call engineers, our contractors that have worked for this town. Spruce Brook Road, let me go back to River Road. River Road, we appropriated $600,000. I don't have the final figure, but that's pretty much wrapped up at $460,000. So there's $140,000 in savings. Spruce Brook Road Bridge is a month and a half ahead of schedule, which we didn't think would happen. It was, and on top of it, this rain has been. We were fortunate to get River Road done. We had kind of a break in the weather. Then it started again, and they really, really have done a great job. And I was impressed, and I sent an email out saying I was impressed with that progress. I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, take a look, see what's been done. And then the neighbors have been pretty happy with what's been going on in the progress, so.
Jeff, are the repairs to River Road temporary, or
As far as we know, nothing's moving, and that's to be determined, to be honest with you. But we'll see. Right now, if you've been over there,
Yep.
it's pretty impressive what was done. And we know the.
So
and we-
quickly, yeah.
Yeah, and that Gabion wall is quite something. Congratulations to Catherine Mambo, of a 2024 member of the National Youth Orchestra of the United States of America, who united with more than 700 esteemed youth musicians from 38 countries for musical performances at Carnegie Hall and cultural exchange in New York City as part of the World Orchestra Week. Ms. Mambo is a student at Pomperaug High School, where she is a concertmaster of both orchestras. Carnegie Hall's Clive Gilson described WOW as a special musical festival that celebrates the pivotal role music can play in societies by bringing the finest young musicians from around the world, one happening to be from Southbury, together across languages, cultures, and backgrounds to listen to Catherine and the other inspiring young musicians who brought the world together through music. Please, and there's a little link there that you can hear the music. This is another example of our exemplary school system and accomplishments of our young people, our youth, that we're seeing. It's pretty impressive. Town of Southbury hosted a Bring Your Child to Work Day for its employees. I expected my 30-year-old son to be coming to see me work here today, but maybe a little later. He's in town. Bring Your Child to Work Day for its employees. The event gave children a glimpse into their parents' workday and what working in municipal government looked like. The children followed a structured schedule, spending time in their parents' office and traveling throughout town departments and partaking in educational activities. As you can see, dunk tanks for fun, PD, fire department. Our fire marshal is there. We have, of course, there's an axe. The boys love an axe. A dunk tank. And the employees really appreciated that had their children here, and they were a lot of fun. And that's the fun part of my job, is the questions they ask and the interest. And hopefully this will pique interest in government when they get older, that they realize it's not quite such a scary place. Town of Southbury is publishing an online business directory at no charge to Southbury businesses. If you would like your business to be included, please submit your business for approval as soon as possible by going to www.southbury-ct.org/business/submission. There it is. So go on our website and be part of our directory. And that is my report. Next is Selectman Betty on your reports.
So, Economic Development will meet next week. They did not have a meeting in July. IPOC, the Investment Portfolio Oversight Committee, met last night. We had a thorough review of our accounts with our designated person at FIA, which is Chris Rollins, has been for years. This quarter is the quarter that the committee reviews the asset allocations, so how we are invested. And based on another outstanding year as far as return in our accounts, Fiducian has come up with some options about how we could rebalance right now. And that's effectively being done because in the town's portion of the town's pension part, we are at 91% funded, and the police plan is just about 85% funded. So when you take those numbers into account with our very low discount rate of 6.25. Many municipalities are still at 7 or higher. We are in excellent shape. So what that rebalancing might look like, and it wasn't voted on last night, is taking our equity exposure down from 60% to 45%, and taking 1 year of payout and moving it into cash, so that there's no fluctuation. So the interest rate environment allows us to do some of that stuff. Obviously, the bond market's been fantastic. So all of that is very good news. The gift fund sits at about 2.9 million, and our reserve accounts are about 11.5, so we're in good shape. Strategic plan, it did not meet in July. Pool oversight, you guys did have a meeting while I was away, I think, or did that get called off?
Yeah,
A lot of people
and we just
missing.
had some calls today, so we'll catch up.
Good, that's it.
Jason?
I have no report. So, quick and
Oh.
easy.
Okay. I don't think, Greg is not here. I think we've lost Selectman Sullivan. I've just lost her. Tim?
Community Relations Task Force did not meet. The Park and Rec Commission met on the 8th of August, and 6 weeks of camp ended on Friday, August 2nd. Served 110 kids in their Adventure Day camp, 45 kids in Teenscape camp, 24 field trips were taken, various designation, 5 other field trips were taken on the Adventure Day camp. The Summer Sharks swim team concluded on July 30th, 6 weeks of practice. There were 36 swimmer in the summer team. 150 kids ages 6 months through 13 years took swim lessons this summer, and that ended on August 2nd. Pickleball courts are reported to be continually busy. They had a pool-hosted 2 events, a middle school party on July 12th and Free Family Pool Day on Saturday, July 27th. The Southbury celebration plans continue. So far, they have 17 vendors, and they're capping it at 17 vendors. There was a 5-week concert series that concluded on July 29th. All of them took place. None of them were rained out. The summer movie night, August 5th, showed The Little Mermaid. And there's reports that the Park and Rec Commission discussed refurbishing the bocce ball court at Ballantyne Park, and also discussed the splash pad. And I guess a location has been determined or has been suggested for Ballantyne Park outside the pool area. The Park and Rec Commission would like to be involved in the splash pad discussions if they further continue. Megan, the new director, and Charlie, they also met with Blake about some park improvements. And they requested a designated email address to enter iWorks orders for the Park and Rec. There's also a park improvement fund that presently has $28,059 in it. And the Conservation Commission did meet on July 25th. There was discussion with the Pomperog Watershed Coalition regarding Janie Pierce's aquatic invasive plant workshop. That is ongoing. I do want to thank John Dwyer for coming here and presenting the historical background behind Community House Barn and also the Grange Hall. And I hope that we can further discuss possibly getting both of those buildings up to par. It'd be nice to see, particularly the Grange Hall, refurbished. You know, I know that the town has always talked about adding culture to the town. And I've said it before, the Cultural Arts Commission has done a lot for Southbury. I'd like to get them involved and hear some other things about possibly getting them preserved. That's all I have.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And we are adjourned. Thank you.